She presented the FA Cup. It was to Billy Wright in 1949. She also gave Stanley Matthews his winner's medal in 1953 after the Matthews final. And on the programme cover tonight, that famous moment, it's in black and white, but I'm sure you remember it in vivid technicolor, those who can remember it. The Queen, who is in her yellow coat and a yellow feathered hat, handing the Jules Rimet trophy to Bobby Moore in his red England shirt after he'd wiped his hands on the red velvet of the Royal Box. And the lights have been dimmed inside Wembley Stadium. And hundreds, thousands of people have now put their lights on their phones. And Jeff Hurst and Bernd Neuendorf and Debbie Hewitt have walked to the side of the pitch and placed those white flowered wreaths on the side of the pitch, and the two sets of players are gathered around the centre circle to remember the late Queen. The image of the Queen's face on the huge electronic screens up above either end of the ground. And it really was actually a very subtle and effective touch to dim the lights inside Wembley Stadium. Just add that element of darkness and all of the lights in the stands. So the team's now ready for the start of the match. England and Germany playing each other for what is the 34th time. Old foes. England in the red, Germany in the white shirts. Just 55 days to go before the World Cup kicks off, and exactly 2 months to the day before England play Iran. There is only this 90 minutes of football to play for England. Danny McAlee blows his whistle, a huge cheer from the Wembley crowd, a full house here this evening, and Germany get us underway and immediately fire the ball forward. And there's a header away on the edge of the box. It comes back to Harry Maguire, who just lifts it forward into the centre circle, and Harry Kane is pulled over on the halfway line, although I think he's given it for Kane's initial challenge on Schlotterbeck, although Kane looks over his shoulder and glares at the referee as if to say, how can you have the temerity not to give that my way, Chris Sutton?
He does, but he also looks over his shoulder and catches Schlotterberg in the neck and takes him out, really. So I think that was the correct decision.
So England and Germany, the England side tonight, if you've not heard, two changes from Friday night in Milan. Nick Pope continues in goal. Stones, Dyer and Maguire, the three central defenders. James on the right, Shaw on the left, Bellingham and Rice in the middle, Foden and Sterling either side of Kane. And England win the ball back. Here's Shaw, plays it up towards Sterling. Sterling, who scored the opening goal, if you remember, in the last 16 at Euro 2020. And here is Sterling, who does well on the left-hand side, gives it to Kane through the middle. Well, that's a crunching challenge on him from Schlotterberg, who gives a bit back there to the England captain, who's okay. He's quickly back up on his feet, and England have it again on the halfway line. So the German side tonight, Ter Stegen of Barcelona in goal. Manuel Neuer, the usual captain, had COVID last week, so he's not involved. Leon Goretzka, likewise. They caught it at Oktoberfest, apparently. So the back four tonight, I'll tell you in a moment, because England have it on the right-hand side. It's played forward for Kane. Kane turns and twists and plays the ball in, and it comes off the shins of a German defender and out of play for a throw-in down the right-hand side. Kane is going to take this quickly, which he does. Back to Reece James. James, infield towards Declan Rice. Looking forward to seeing how this Rice-Bellingham partnership is going to look tonight. And now Shaw on the left-hand side. Shaw gives it back, and Maguire, just stretching for it, plays it to Eric Dyer, playing for England again at Wembley after making his England return with the ball halfway inside his own half. So that German side, Ter Stegen in goal, back four of Kehrer, Zula, Schlotterbeck and Raum, then Kimmich and Gundogan in centre field. Lots of familiar names in this German side. Hoffmann on the right, who scored when they played each other in Munich in June in the Nations League earlier in the group. Young Jamal Musiala, the number 14, who played for so many of the young England teams but has committed himself to Germany. Exciting Bayern Munich talent. Leroy Sané on the left and Kai Havertz up front. So 0-0, very early stages. We're in the third minute, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and England with a 3-4-3 formation, and the Germans setting up. They started with a back four against Hungary, went to a back three in the second half, but they'll try and dominate the ball, the Germans will, as they do in most games. They've just lacked that punch in recent times, albeit they did get 5 against Italy. But Gareth Southgate really needs a performance from his England team this evening.
Yeah, but that was their only win in their last 6 internationals, Germany. And there are questions being asked about Hansi Flick's side, so that's the other side of the coin tonight. It's important for Germany as well as England. And England playing the ball to Sterling, who's way over there on the far side of the field, but he's surrounded by Germans on either side of him, and it is Germany who come away with the ball, and it's deflected out of play off. In the end, a German foot, so Luke Shaw has a throw-in level with the edge at his own penalty area. England 0, Germany 0. BBC Radio 5 Live, listen as well on BBC Sounds tonight. And Luke Shaw still waiting to take this throw-in, making his return to the England starting lineup. He's not started for club or country, Luke Shaw, since August the 13th. Started Manchester United's first 2 matches of the season, and there's a slip on the halfway line by Raum, the left back, but Reece James was quickly closed down, and James gets it back now from Bellingham. Bellingham wants it. Bellingham of Borussia Dortmund, playing against so many familiar faces for him. James now on the right-hand side. James being forced infield by Raum. Here's Bellingham again, but Kai Havertz is after him, so it has to go back to John Stones, who gives it back to Nick Pope, who quickly gets rid of it straight away. I think that's probably the best option for the Newcastle goalkeeper. Kane's overhit the pass out to the left-hand side. Shaw can't reach that. It's out of play for a throw-in to the Germans. Yeah,
well, Nick Pope, interesting call, getting the nod again this evening, but I've got to say, always looks a bit clumsy with his feet.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, clumsy, uncomfortable. But he kicked one out of play a couple of minutes ago, didn't he? And then taking no chances there. But see the way the Germans have set up, they'll really overload the centre of the pitch. And England have got to find a way of getting up the pitch, which they struggled to do in the game against Italy.
Good work from Declan Rice centrally, then the ball's played over the top for Sterling down the left-hand side, but that's tidied up by big Nicolas Zula. Passes it back to Ter Stegen. Excellent goalkeeper to have as your second choice, the Barcelona man, who passes it out from the back, and then Reece James concedes a throw-in just down in front of us here. Our commentary box, back in our commentary box, our glass-fronted commentary box at Wembley Stadium in these better times. Raum playing it infield to Kimmich, who then passes it back to Ter Stegen. Second choice, but it is his 30th cap. Lots of experience. And here is young Musiala, who's carrying the ball forward from the halfway line. But then Declan Rice is able to step into his path. But Musiala is back on the ball again, the number 14, giving it out towards the right-hand side. Hoffmann is there. Now Kimmich is involved. Back more centrally to Gundogan. Square from Gundogan. Remember, Gundogan was injured and wasn't able to play in the game here at the Euros when England eventually and dramatically and excitingly won it with the 2 late goals. No Thomas Muller in the team tonight. That's one of the 4 changes that Hansi Flick has made to his team from Friday night. Rudiger suspended, so he couldn't be involved. Gnabry, Muller and Werner are all among the substitutes. Here is the Manchester City man, Gundogan. Gives it to Hoffmann, and then back into the German half. The white shirts of Germany with a big black stripe down the middle, a little bit like the Ajax style. Black shorts and white socks. So everyone's got their World Cup kits on in these international matches. These are the shirts that we will see in Qatar in 2 months' time, when we will bring you every blow of that World Cup on 5 Live and here on BBC Radio. Here is Musiala, nice turn away from Rice. Little touch to Kimmich, but that breaks down, and now Foden can bring it forward for England over the halfway line. Foden, just a little touch to Kane to his right-hand side. Sterling's available on the edge of the box. Kane curls it in towards the back post, but beyond the run of Foden, and it will run over the white line and behind for a goal kick.
And that's when England look at their most dangerous. The turnover there, Bellingham did well to win the ball back, and England are away. As the ball goes out wide right to Harry Kane, it's a terrific ball in, it really is, and he's not far away from picking out Raheem Sterling and Phil Foden at the back post, in fact.
So Germany with it inside their own penalty area. That was another feature of the other night. You know, the talk of how England need to move the ball more quickly. I feel like we say that virtually every time England get together at one stage or another, but also making the right decisions. And that was better, that looked more promising from England, but 0-0 very early stages. Here's Gundogan, the bearded Gundogan, looks up and then just taps it forward towards Musiala. Can play in any number of positions. Musiala, the 19-year-old Bayern Munich man who's made a brilliant start to this season as well. Here is Gundogan, 30 yards out, just runs his foot over the ball. England have got everyone apart from Harry Kane in their defensive third. Here's the cross from the right-hand side, which doesn't reach Havertz, but Eric Dyer was behind him and heads it behind for the first corner of the match to the visitors from Germany.
Yeah, Germany just controlling the game a little bit in the early stages. England there set up as a 5-4-1, defending deep, cross ball goes in. The Germans have just lacked in that central striking position. Havertz starts up there tonight. I'm not sure that's his favourite position. I know he plays there for Chelsea.
Well, this corner looks as though it's going to be swung in by Raum, now of RB Leipzig, after his move in the summer. Raum hits this very, very deep towards the back post. Havertz actually peeled away there, tried to bring it down with his left foot, but couldn't get a touch, couldn't get a clean touch, and he's buffeted off the ball. And England bring it forward with John Stones, who looks to thread a pass centrally. That was a good pass to Sterling over the halfway line, and then Sterling tried to play it through to Foden's run. I think he might have been offside anyway. As it is, a German defender blocked it, and that's a poor touch by Kane, and Germany are able to clear it away on the edge of the box through Schlotterbeck. And Eric Dyer then challenges in the centre circle, but England have got it back.
Yeah, and that's when they have looked dangerous in the early stages, England. And the counter-attack, and Stones with that tantalising left foot crossfield pass just got there. But as Sterling cut inside, Foden had made his run a little bit too early. German high line.
That's Chris Sutton with us. Andros Townsend is here as well. Another England international. Nick Pope is caught in possession, and the ball bounces for Germany on the edge of the box, and back it comes to Gundogan, who hits the shot from the edge of the D. Just tried to whip it, curl it into the top corner, but too high with the shot by 2 or 3 feet. But Nick Pope caught in possession.
He did, he just delayed, took a heavy first touch in fact, and was unaware of Havertz, I think it was, who put him under pressure. The shot from Gundogan just over the bar, but it doesn't instill you with great confidence. Nick Pope with the ball at his feet.
So why not Ramsdale tonight? Why Pope again?
I think it's a strange call in many respects, but a call which is saying to me, Nick Pope, you're my number 2.
See, Ramsdale's
better with his feet than Nick Pope.
Significantly, but Ramsdale did start the second two matches in June in this competition against Italy and Hungary at Molineux, but Nick Pope's been selected for both of these. Here's Rice, gets the ball down and gives it to Sterling on the left wing. Sterling is up against Kimmich out there, actually got past Kimmich, but then there was the covering challenge coming in from Thilo Kehrer, and the ball bounces out of play for a throw into England near the corner flag on the left-hand side, in front of all of those German flags that are draped over the first few seats in that section in that corner. Actually, the throw-in's going to be taken more towards the middle of the half. Not sure it went out of play there, but Shaw is going to take
actually
it.
Stopped him, didn't he, to say take it higher up?
Yeah.
Normally the other way round.
Sterling gives it back to Kane, then Kane's return pass, but he was blocked by Kehrer, who actually just turns under no particular pressure and puts the ball out of play for another England throw down the left-hand side. This is 7 or 8 yards away from the corner flag. Stewart just hands the ball to Shaw, who again takes it probably 6 or 7 yards away from where it actually went out. Sterling now in the box. Rice is there as well, back to and the offside flag is up against Luke Shaw, who'd come back from an offside position. That was all rather odd.
Yeah, that's the assistant with the late flag. That infuriates people, doesn't it, around the country, with the late flag for offside. It didn't look like it was offside.
Well,
matter of fact.
Yeah. I don't want you getting infuriated already tonight. We've only played 12 minutes. England 0, Germany 0. And very few empty seats around Wembley Stadium. I guess it'll be early 80,000 as the ball is played down the left-hand side, but it's beyond Sterling and it runs out of play, and it's a throw-in to the Germans halfway inside their own half. In actual fact, Germany will play again before their opening match at the World Cup. The Germans in a group with Japan, Spain and Costa Rica. But because they're one of the later starters in the World Cup, they've been able to organise a game on the Wednesday before. So they'll play in Muscat against Oman on the Wednesday, and then they'll fly to Qatar, because you have to be in the country 5 days before you play. So the Germans will have a friendly match before the real thing begins, but not England. This is the end of the meaningful action for Gareth Southgate and his team. Still England 0, Germany 0, and rather like the other night in Milan, very few opportunities for the opening goal so far. Here is Gundogan. He's had the shot over the top of the English crossbar. Gundogan gets it back, looks over his shoulder, and then he lifts a ball forward. That was very Manchester City style, but England are able to deal with that on the edge of the box. And here's Maguire now on the left-hand side, who clears, but that's blocked down. And now Maguire recovers and is able to put a foot in and block it out for another corner to the Germans.
Yeah, Maguire in the first instance trying to make the clearance. It was blocked, and as the ball broke free in the wide area, Maguire got a good block on, recovered well.
Well, Round took the first corner that Germany had from over there on the right-hand side, but this is going to be Kimmich instead. So this is an outswinger. As Germany play from right to left as we look from the dressing room side of the ground in the first half. Kimmich raises his right arm and then fires this into the back post. It's over the top of Havertz. It's headed back across the England penalty area. Maguire headed it away, nodded further away by Bellingham on the edge of the box. A stretching header as he moved backwards by Harry Kane, and then it's volleyed forward into the centre circle by Raheem Sterling. But the Germans are back in possession, and the central defender Schlotterbeck gives it back to Gundogan, who was behind him, and Germany are able to assume possession of the ball again inside England territory. Only about 80,000 people, but Wembley very, very quiet, because they haven't seen anything yet to get them off their seats from England. Here's Kimmich. Kimmich back to Schlotterbeck. And then back in the centre circle, Nicholas Zula to the right-hand side. It goes. Kehrer, the new West Ham signing, playing it right back tonight. Gundogan plays it in to the edge of the area, but Bellingham dives forward and blocks that out. And actually, the referee spotted a foul by...
It was James on Raum, who made a run on the inside of Reece James.
This was off the ball.
Yeah, and James brought Raum down and protested to the referee. I don't know whether he's got a little heads up from one of the assistants there, but this is
That was a good spot by the referee. That was not in his eye line. That was off the ball.
Whether that was him who spotted it, or whether an assistant has made that decision. But good range, this, isn't it? What, 23, 24 yards out? Well,
that's a cheap free kick to concede by Reece James. A little naive, you might say, but this is left of centre. And I've seen Gundogan be able to hit them from here. Leroy Sané is there as well. Sané is making it look as though it's going to be him to take this, but this could easily be Gundogan with the right foot. So this is going to be a test for Nick Pope. England have put up a a 5-man wall. There's someone lying down behind it as well, but there's also a 4-man German wall to the right as we look of the England wall. And actually England have put 2 men behind the German wall.
Looks like there's 3 walls there, John, all in all.
And also the man lying behind as well. So it is Zane who will take it, and he hits it into the middle of the wall to the left.
Well, the biggest wall.
The biggest wall, yeah. And then England bring it away, and James is tripped. And it's a free kick to England halfway inside their own half. And actually, that seems to have woken up a few of the crowd, the wall.
Yeah. A wall just standing firm and doing their job, and the crowd, they're excited. How many minutes are we in now?
We are 17 minutes in.
Stadium buzzing.
I don't think I'd go quite that far. England 0, Germany 0. Once we've played 20 minutes, we'll bring in Andros Townsend, I think, for a little thought on what's happened, but there's not a great deal for Andros to analyse at this stage of the game. But it is a free kick that England have near the centre circle that Eric Dyer will wander forward to take.
I don't think we're surprised by the way Gareth has set up. They're set up to defend deep and counter against a German team who want to dominate the ball.
And this is a German team who, even though they've won only one of their last 6 matches, as I mentioned, that defeat on Friday night against Hungary, that was Hansi Flick's first defeat as the manager of Germany, of the national team, Champions League winning coach with Bayern Munich. That's spectacular but relatively brief spell that he had in charge of Bayern Munich, and losing his first match out of 14 after winning the first 8. Here's Ter Stegen with the ball in front of his penalty area. Ter Stegen just knocking the ball 2 or 3 yards in front of himself and then overhitting the ball downfield that Nick Pope should deal with at the other end, which he does, just picks it up. So England 0, Germany 0, BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds tomorrow night. More Nations League commentary with rather more on the line in the Nations League as Scotland go for promotion to League A. So our team will be in Krakow in Poland for Ukraine against Scotland. You'll be hearing that if you're listening to 5 Live this time tomorrow night. Ball played over the top for Germany. He has Havertz on the right-hand side. One of the players in the German team not necessarily in the best of form with Chelsea at the start of this season. Ball headed forward for Sterling, who nods it down, and then it's taken up by Bellingham. 2 Germans, both of the central midfielders, Gundogan and Kimmich, catch Bellingham at the same time, and it's a free kick for England inside their own half. What about the theory, Chris, that this promising pair, Rice and Bellingham, might be even better if there were 3 of them in that central midfield area? What have you made of the partnership between them so far?
Look, I thought Bellingham performed well the other evening in Italy. I really did. I think Declan Rice, start of the season, has been okay, but I think his role is key in this England team, and he has to really move the ball really quickly. Incisive passes which we haven't seen really in an England jersey. Shaw's given it away, and it was given to Gundogan now on the right-hand side, comes back infield towards Kimmich. Kimmich chips it from right to left, headed away by James on the edge of the box, and Phil Foden is there on the edge of his own penalty area, plays it back to Stones, and Pope had to clear very quickly there. It was slightly under-hit by Stones, but Pope was quickly enough onto it and just right-footed it, rattled it away downfield. Yeah, I think it was Hoffman who Stones was completely unaware of Hoffman as the ball was popped back to him. And he did a blind pass back to Nick Pope, who fortunately got his big right boot to it. Harry Maguire just glances the header across the penalty area, and Shaw will clear it away towards the halfway line. 20 minutes played then, England 0, Germany 0. Andros Townsend is here with us. What have you thought so far, Andros?
I think it's clear that in the first 20 minutes this England side have picked up where they left off the other night. Not much attacking threat.
Yes, Pope with the ball at his feet, so I thought I'd better come in there, Andros, but he's been able to take a touch and clear it away. Carry on.
Yeah, not much attacking threat. Defended very well as a unit, as a collective, not really given much space to this German side. Had a few counter-attacking moments, but again in isolation. When the front 3 or the front 5 are counter-attacking, the back 3 aren't getting up high enough, which isn't allowing us to then sustain attacks in the German defensive half. and yeah, we're allowing them to get out. But I'd like to see more combinations between our front three, which we didn't get the other night. We've seen one or two signs, but not much to write home about.
No. That sums it up very well. James, though, playing it to the left-hand side. Kimmich is there on the edge of the box, though, to clear away. And Gundogan is able to pass it back to his goalkeeper, Ter Stegen, who pulls it onto his left foot and finds the pass to the halfway line. Havertz was onto that, Sané as well, but then Eric Dyer back in position, halfway inside his own half, gives it to John Stones on the right-hand side. Stones ball forward, looking for Bellingham. That's headed down by Zula, who hasn't quite got it away. Foden was after it. Schlotterbeck with a touch. Gundogan is in there as well. It's bounced to Kane. Kane right side of the penalty area. Bellingham wants it short. In fact, Kane gives it to James, and then in comes a very good challenge by left-back Raum, and Germany are off on the counter-attack. Sané to Musiala. Musiala could have gone long with the pass, instead he goes square. Hoffman now takes it on, gets his head down. Up the right wing he goes into the England left-back position. Hoffman's cross to the back post. It's turned back infield by Raum. Comes to Raum again, and then a stretch away from Maguire to safety. And the ball's out of play. And England under pressure there. England 0, Germany 0. Halfway through the first half here at Wembley Stadium. And it's time for Ian Dennis to half-time.
Thank you, John. That all comes from Reece James losing the ball there, and that will do wonders for Maguire. I'd have thought it was a timely intervention for him in his penalty area. England not missing out on the marketing opportunity to wear their away strip at home in the new kit, the all-red, playing from left to right as we look against Germany in their white shirts with that broad black stripe going down the middle. And it is 0-0 on BBC Radio 5 Live. There have been a couple of nervy moments for Pope with the ball at his feet, but apart from that, England have certainly defended a lot better than they did if you think back to the opening 10 minutes. Quite a nervy start in Milan on Friday night. Germany have a throw on this near side the left, 10 yards in. Raum to take it, arcs its way in, headed out by Stones, picked up by Rice on the edge of his penalty area, held up though by Hoffman, and then Maguire plays the ball forward. And then it's laid back, and now England can come forward. And it's a ball through the middle, looking towards Raheem Sterling. Sterling enters the penalty area. Sterling saved by the goalkeeper Ter Stegen. Cut back onto his left foot, about 12 yards out from goal, central position. And Ter Stegen making the save, all in blue, away towards his right-hand side. By far the best opportunity of the game, 0-0.
Yeah, and what a pass this is. I think it's Luke Shaw who hits the pass from deep. And it's curled round the back of the German defence, and Raheem Sterling, right-hand side of the box, chops onto his left foot, tries to feed the ball into the far corner. What a save that is.
Sterling with a layoff. Foden towards Harry Kane. It's played behind him. And Kehrer, the right-back, the West Ham United defender, on the cover, tucked in, turns it behind for a corner kick. But two really promising bits of play for England in the space of 60 seconds.
Important clearance from Kehrer, but Phil Foden should have taken greater care with his cross, because Harry Kane would have had the easiest opportunities. 6 yards out, level with the near post. Poor pass from Phil Foden. Chance gone.
Set piece though for England, corner kick near side the right, James to take it, right arm aloft, in it comes now, right footed. It was actually flicked on by John Stones and away, but Bellingham will keep that ball in play over on that far side. The Borussia Dortmund midfielder inside towards Raheem Sterling, who turns, links up once again with Bellingham, and then it's taken off his toes by Hoffman, and it's gone behind for another corner kick. By far England's best spell of the game, 26 minutes played, goalless.
Yeah, and I suppose, with the lack of goals in the last 5 games, it's those moments when you have those opportunities just to be a bit more careful with that final ball, and Foden missing Harry Kane.
All about those fine margins as the corner kick from the left-hand side, headed goalwards by Kane, comes back to Kane, and with a dipping volley from the right-hand side of the penalty area. He hit it first time right-footed, and it drops probably about half a foot wide of that left-hand post as we look 0-0.
I mean, this is such wonderful technique from Harry Kane as the ball dropping. What would he be? 14 yards out at an angle, trying to dip the ball back over Ter Stegen into the far corner, and he wasn't far away, a yard past Ter Stegen's right-hand post.
when you were having great fun with John and he was talking about the various walls, I'm surprised you never said it's a wall of silence, because at the time Wembley was quite quiet, but they've certainly been livened up with those England efforts, 3 of them in a rapid fire time. But it's Germany now who are coming forward, and the ball from the central defender Nico Schlotterbeck given away. Gundogan though will have it back for Germany, who's right of the centre circle. Joshua Kimmich now for Germany. Waits, plays it forward. Hoffman able to turn out to Kehrer on the right, goes square along the ground. Kimmich with Bellingham behind him. Gundogan, every outfield player is in the England half, away towards our left hand side, as now it's Zula, burly figure of the central defender of Germany, who's they've lost it now with Musiala, and Kane to Sterling, laid it off. It was a heavy touch, a very heavy touch from Raheem Sterling. But once again, that front 3 of Kane, Sterling and Foden were looking to try and profit.
Yeah, and when Germany do overturn the ball, that's when England have looked at their most dangerous. But on the break there, Kane into Sterling in a central position, a really poor touch as Sterling just tried to cushion the ball to Phil Foden, who made a good run on the right-hand side. Sterling frustrated with himself.
England, remember, who haven't scored in their last 3 successive matches for the first time since 2000. You have to go back to 1981, the only time in England's history where they failed to score in 4 successive games. Here is Gundogan. Kimmich switches play. Raum, left back, closed down by James, runs away off the shins of the Chelsea defender.
Who were those games against in 1981?
Romania, Brazil, Wales and Scotland.
God, Brian couldn't score against that mob.
That won't endear you to your friends north of the border, unless you were talking about the Welsh. And that won't endear you to your 606 partner, Robbie Savage.
I was talking about Brazil.
Here is Gundogan, tries to slide it in low. Ron Greenwood was the manager back then for England. Here, Kimmich, Raum, Gundogan. Pace of the game has slowed down considerably. Germany will see a lot of the ball. England have dropped off, everybody behind it. Gundogan able to turn 6 yards forward of the centre circle. Hoffman's in a central area, gives the ball away. Bellingham can't hold on to it, comes back to Gundogan, slides it through, and then Havertz miscontrols the ball. England managed to get away with that. Kehrer, though, is back forward for Germany on that far side, the right, and he slips the ball on the inside now to Hoffman, and then Kehrer dives inside the penalty area, looking for a penalty. Now that is where you're wanting your referee to take action.
Yeah, I mean, there is a slight clip, isn't there, outside the box from Sterling, but
it's an exaggerated dive.
Absolutely. He's so much better than that, Kehrer.
I knew you were going to say that. Ball played away by ter Stegen. Gundogan on the edge of his penalty area now. We've been playing for half an hour here at Wembley on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and tomorrow, incidentally, England's under-21s against Germany's under-21s will be streamed live on the BBC, the Red Button, the BBC iPlayer, as well as the BBC Sport website. That's at Bramall Lane. Here we are at Wembley in North London, where it is still goalless. Musiala, Raum, the left back for Germany, to Schlotterbeck, inside to Gundogan, in between the 2 central defenders. He has the ball now, and now it's with Zula, just edging his way forward. Hoffman to Kimmich, short diagonal ball back towards Hoffman, creates the overlap for the run of Kehrer. First time cross cleared by Sterling for England, and now Germany starting to see a little bit more of the ball.
Yeah, England happy to defend deep, don't have a great deal of pace with those 3 central defenders, and Germany a bit of joy in the wide areas. Just watching the Sterling and Kehrer incident again, there is a slight tug of the jersey from Raheem Sterling, but it's the exaggeration, Deno, which we can't stand, I think it's fair to say.
Well, Paul van Boekel, who's the VAR, The Dutch official would have no doubt have had a look at that from his Dutch counterpart, Danny Macaulay, the referee. Muslera inside to Kimmich. Back with the German midfielder once again. It's almost being played at a walking pace, this contest that is 0-0. Round forward, back to Schlotterbeck. Gundogan once again. The black armband is just coming loose there of Gundogan. Managed to reattach it, however, still with the ball at his feet, and now Zula along the ground, and the ball goes away. It might reach round, but James was alert, back towards Pope, first time clearance, stumble from the Newcastle goalkeeper, headed forward by Gundogan against his Manchester City teammate Phil Foden. And now it's with Dyer, plays it forward, Bellingham, Germany trying to press, Stones along the ground, Foden lays it off towards Bellingham. England, though, can't get out of their own half at the moment. Back it goes towards Stones. Havertz loitering back towards Pope. First time clearance, a lot of distance on that. Flicked on by the head of Kane. Sterling, Schlotterbeck and Kehrer between them deal with that bouncing ball midway through the Germany half. Here is Sane, challenge made by James, comes out to Raum, left corner of the area, delivers the cross, headed out first time by Dyer, picked up by Gundogan. This is Kimmich running to the edge of the area, checks back onto his left foot, chips the ball in towards the penalty area, and it's over the head of Musiala. In the other group, by the way, Group A3, Hungary, who had a 2-point advantage over Italy. Raspadori, who scored against England the other night in the San Siro, has given Roberto Mancini's side the lead. That would take Italy to the top and go through to the finals. The venue for those finals will be probably decided for the next UEFA Executive Committee, who meet on October the 27th. But Italy looking to try and pip Hungary to the top of England's group. Of course, England have already been relegated, and the 2024 competition will be in the second tier. 34 minutes played, 11 minutes to go to half-time. Get another word from Andros, who's alongside us here before the break, as Gundogan picks it up, plays the ball forward, headed away by Stones. And then James has lost the ball to Raum, the left-back. Now it's with Musiala, and Musiala was looking to try and get on that ball there on the edge of the area. Here is Stones there with the interception towards Foden, and Foden can run forward. Kane having to check his run.
Stones is pulled up there.
Foden looking towards Sterling, through to the goalkeeper.
He's got a big problem there, John Stones. Was looking to make a run in behind the German high line, he's gone down. I'm not a medical expert, don't know, but that's a right hamstring.
Foden was looking towards Sterling, but whilst that was happening, Stones has pulled up and he's sat down, and he's now just on the halfway line and doesn't look like he's going to be in a position to continue. So let's bring in Andros. What have you made of the game then, Andros, so far? 10 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, again, we've had our moments and spells. Initially, straight after that 20-minute period, we had a few attacks back-to-back. We managed to stay in their half for a few minutes, which I haven't seen in the last... definitely in the last 100 minutes of football that I've been watching England play, including the other night. But still, I feel like when we're counter-attacking, it's too isolated, where Declan Rice making a marauding run, Sterling's got in a few times. We're not backing up the play. There's too much space between those counter-attacking and those behind. The two midfielders need to get higher. The three centre-halves, I know they're worried about their pace, but they need to get higher as well. We need to get some sustained possession in this German half, and we're not doing that at the minute.
That's Andros Townsend, former England international, and here is Chris Sutton.
I mean, it's very basic England's brand of football. That's the truth. I mean, when the ball goes back to Nick Pope, he kicks the ball up the pitch. Harry Kane tries to flick it on, and Raheem Sterling makes a movement off him. But where England have been dangerous is in the turnover. And when they've counter-attacked, and you know, it's just been that final ball at times, but England haven't really found a way of playing out from the back through this German team, who are pressing high.
But even if you are going to play that way, it is very basic. If you are going to play up to Harry Kane and try and get flick-ons and try and get the knockdowns, if your two midfielders are on the halfway line, they're never going to pick up the bits. So then Germany win it back straight away, and they're attacking us again, and then we retreat back to our shape in our own half. So yes, it's one thing playing up to Harry Kane, but if you haven't got the runners off him or behind him backing him up, you're not going to get any joy at all.
John Stones unable to continue, and the way that he pulled up, you would think that it'd be a doubt for the Manchester derby, a game incidentally you can hear live on Sunday afternoon on BBC Radio 5 Live. 7 appearances for Manchester City, 5 starts in the Premier League as well this season for John Stones. So a doubt ahead of the Manchester derby, and he's replaced by his Manchester City teammate Kyle Walker. That was one of 2 changes from the side that lost to Italy on Friday, made by Gareth Southgate. So Kyle Walker comes on for his 70th cap for England tonight to play on the right side of that 3-man defence. Talking of City, Gundogan. Schlotterbeck with the cross, headed away by Shaw, who hasn't played in the Premier League for Manchester United since that defeat at Brentford. He's actually had less game time for United than Harry Maguire. Here is Bellingham charging forward for the Red of England. To Sterling. Shaw's going to go on the overlap. Sterling carries the ball forward. Now he utilises Shaw, and the cross is charged down and deflected behind for a corner kick. And it remains 0-0 with 7 minutes to go to half-time.
And that attack stemmed from a wonderful pass from Phil Foden. Brave, 30 yards from his own goal. Little reverse pass, and England, once again, looking a danger on the counter-attack. Can they make something from this corner?
Corner kick, far side to left. Phil Foden to take it, left-footed. It's an outswinger. Maguire climbs 12 yards out from goal, but his header drops well off target. England's highest scoring defender makes his way back into defence as Ter Stegen tries to take the quick goal kick, but Shaw was alert in a central area, and the 2 wing-backs for England combined, passing the ball there, and now it's back with Kyle Walker once more for England. Rice now with Dyer almost coming to a standstill at the heart of that England defence. And then Maguire from the left of the 3 spreads play out towards James. Nicely controlled first time. Bellingham with Gundogan looking to close him down, goes back. And then Dyer backpedaling, manages to clear the ball up towards that far side. And it's with Shaw back towards his Manchester United teammate Maguire. And England in turn all the way back to the goalkeeper Pope in yellow. Clears with a diagonal ball. James looks to attack it, heads it on, high on the chest by Foden, looking to turn, surrounded by too many white shirts, and Germany back in possession. Kimmich strokes it forward. Raum makes the run in behind on this near side, the Germany left. Plays it now back to Nico Schlotterbeck, who Borussia Dortmund central defender, up against his teammate, of course, Jude Bellingham.
Waving the team up, waving England's back line up. There's not a lot of pace in that back line other than Kyle Walker, who has come on.
Here is Gundogan. Germany now being forced back. This is with Foden. Raum for Germany. Kimmich able to have a little glance around. Bellingham in close proximity, back towards his goalkeeper. Controls the ball in his 6-yard area, but his right-footed clearance over the head of Kehrer. Because of England's presence, Germany give the ball away, and it'll be an England throw with 4.5 minutes to go. But apart from that flurry of activity with England, they had 2 or 3 moments of genuine excitement, and Pope's nervy moments. That's been about it in terms of a spectacle.
Had the Sterling opportunity, wonderful pass from Shaw, and Sterling actually chopped inside, didn't he? Really big opportunity with his weaker left foot. Decent save from Ter Stegen. That's a good pass out.
Maguire to Shaw, flicks it forward along the ground, left-hand side of the penalty area. Sterling goes to ground, wag of the finger from the referee says no foul. Shaw wins it back to Foden, couldn't control the ball on the edge of the area, and Zula will play it up towards Gundogan. Bellingham coming across, gets the foot into the challenge, but Germany will still come forward. Over on that far side with Musiala on the Germany left, lays it back to Gundogan, coming onto the ball, left of the centre circle, and now it's left towards Kimmich, who passes the ball out towards that far side, and Havertz just drifting in off that right touchline. Now with Kimmich, 30 yards from goal, still 0-0 as we approach half-time on BBC Radio 5 Live. Sane, Gundogan, Kimmich once more, over the top of Hoffman, and Shaw will easily come across and deal with that, and then runs it out of play for a throw.
Doesn't deal with that very well, does he?
He did initially.
Well, he didn't in the end because he was careless and the ball gone out for a German throw-in.
Kehrer, right-hand side, threads it through. Musiala. First cross was blocked, right-hand side of the penalty area, cuts it back, right corner of the area to Kimmich. Kimmich waits to deliver the ball. That was blocked by Dyer, and out of play it goes for a throw down by the corner flag over on that far side, the Germany right, and it remains England 0, Germany 0. When John said at the start of the game, the reaction throughout tonight from this sellout crowd at Wembley will be quite telling. We'll get a flavour of what the supporters have felt with this first 45 minutes when Danny McAuley does indeed blow his half-time whistle as the cross comes in from the right and excellently defended by Kyle Walker, just chesting the ball back towards Nick Pope.
Yeah, really cool, wasn't he, Kyle Walker? Only Havertz really in the middle for Germany. Walker, what, 6 yards from goal, just a little cushion chest back to Nick Pope.
Who eventually clears the ball away. It's flicked on by the head of James. Foden makes the run in behind, hooks it in field, laid off by the chest of Kane. James spins away from Gundogan, lays it off to Bellingham, turns into trouble in Musiala and loses the ball. Break on now for Germany. Kimmich out towards Hoffman. Havertz going on ahead of him. Hoffman with his short dark hair nutmegs Rice. Stepping out of defence was Maguire. Out towards Sterling. Forward ball now towards Harry Kane. England now looking to counter. Sterling ahead of Kane, enters the penalty area. Sterling's low left-footed shot, easily saved by ter Stegen at his near post, 0-0.
Brilliant once again. Harry Kane, his weight of pass to Raheem Sterling, who is marauding into the box on the left-hand side. Gets the run on Kehrer, decides to shoot at goal with his left foot. And I think he could have squared that to Phil Foden, who would have had an easy tap-in at the far post. On a few occasions in this first half, England have had opportunities to take the lead. They've just been slightly careless.
Gareth Southgate yesterday in conversation with John was saying that's where they need to be ruthless in that final third. But in the end it was easily kept out by ter Stegen. Neuer missing for Germany as Gundogan does a 360-degree turn, lays the ball off to Zula. Central defender for Germany was quite high there, edge of the area now with Musiala. No sight of goal, plenty of red shirts back, no way through, and England able to clear. Ball just touched forward by Bellingham to Foden. Now it's with Raheem Sterling over the halfway line. A little dart forward by Sterling. The through ball to Foden was blocked. Comes out towards Harry Kane on that far side, and back it goes towards Shaw, and we're about to find out how much added on time there will be. As you may have heard, it's just the 2. As Maguire sends the ball forward, Harry Kane has done, no, I was about to say exceptionally well to keep it in. He was like a ball juggler there, teetering down the touchline, but it's gone out of play and it'll be a Germany throw.
A ball juggler. I know what you meant, but he didn't keep it in, so...
He did juggle with the ball.
Yeah. But it doesn't count, does it, if it's not on stage?
Back with ter Stegen. And now with Zula to the Germany goalkeeper.
Declan Rice has gone in to press Gundogan. Looks like ter Stegen. No, so good with the ball at his feet, ter Stegen.
Schlotterbeck test out that footwork once more of the Germany goalkeeper to Zula. There is a hush around Wembley Stadium as Hoffman now picks up the ball, plays it out towards that far side, the right, to Kehrer. He's had an interesting time since he's moved to West Ham United. An own goal against Tottenham, conceding a penalty against Brighton and Hove Albion. As Kimmich to Kehrer, forward. Back towards Kimmich once again, a little bit off balance, that ball inside to Kimmich, but it's kept alive by Schlotterbeck. Gundogan, this is Musiala, edge of the area, accelerates, couldn't find a way through, comes out to Schlotterbeck on this left-hand side. Gundogan, edge of the area, 30 yards out, Kimmich's going to shoot, right-footed, that was close, it was a low right-footed effort, just under 30 yards out, along the ground, Pope fully extended away towards his right, but as we look, it was off target from the left-hand post and behind for a goal kick 0-0 in stoppage time.
The England defence very deep, a couple of yards inside the box, and Raheem Sterling, the closest man to Kimmich, who shoots from a central area. Sterling doesn't really shut him down, and he's not far away, Kimmich. Decent strike. Don't want to give him too many shooting opportunities.
The reaction from tonight's game will be live, if not before we're off air at 10 o'clock, into Colin Murray's programme that follows 5 Live Sport at 10. But the half-time whistle has sounded. It's England 0, Germany 0. England had a couple of nervy moments for Nick Pope in goal, then that low effort for Kimmich, but apart from that, the best spell was when Harry Kane had an effort that was off target, and Sterling, with on his left foot, brought out a save from Ter Stegen in a flurry of activity. But that's probably been about it as far as the goalmouth incidents are concerned. And so, Mark, at half-time, England 0, Germany 0.
You still awake, Andros?
We've had our moments. It's not been too bad.
No, I was just talking about having to listen to Chris, actually. No. There's no intensity, is there? I mean, from either side, really. It's all a bit flat.
I think from the German side, they've had the lion's share of possession, but they've not really troubled us at all. They've not really dragged us out of position. They've not gone down the side of us. They've not gone over us. They've not gone in behind us. So I think from an England side, even though we're not seeing large amounts of the ball, I think we're very comfortable. And we're catching them on the counter-attack. We're very dangerous. We're creating chances. But we just need to be, like the guy said in commentary, we need to be more clinical because we're not getting there as often as we would like.
Chris?
Yeah, I think there's an element of, we knew the way Gareth would set up, how he sets up against the better teams, and it is to counter-attack. I think the truth is, from the first half, is as Andros said, Nick Pope hasn't really had anything to do in terms of shot stopping, and there haven't been any big opportunities for the Germans. If anything, England have just been slightly wasteful when they have had opportunities. The Foden cross where he has to find Kane, I mean, massive opportunity. Sterling went through, and it's a good save from Ter Stegen. Kane was a bit unlucky with a volley. There have been moments, but England just have to be clinical in those moments, and that's the story of the first half. But I don't think that it's not going to happen under Gareth for England to go toe-to-toe with the big nations and play an expansive brand of football. It's not going to happen. We have to accept what we are, and it's been basic football at times. Nick Pope hasn't taken any chances after he made an error early on, and he's been like walloping balls up to Harry Kane, who's trying to flick the ball on. But where England have looked dangerous is in the turnover, when they've won the ball from Germany, when Germany are throwing bodies forward, and they have countered, and England have been a threat. It's just they haven't been clinical enough.
Andros, Chris, thank you very much. Second half on the way here on 5 Live Sport. That's a good thing. That's meant to keep you listening. We'll talk Worcester and Ukraine, Scotland during half-time after the latest BBC News.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
With the news on 5 Live, I'm Anna Preston. The Bank of England says it won't hesitate to raise interest rates as necessary to control inflation. There's been speculation of further rises to the base rate after sterling fell to its lowest value in 50 years against the dollar. Several lenders, including Virgin Money and the Skipton Building Society, have withdrawn their range of mortgages to new customers. Halifax has taken similar steps. Louise Cooper, a financial analyst, says the situation could get really tough for homeowners.
If your fix ends, remortgaging could be very expensive. If the bank does raise rates by a full 2 percentage points, those on tracker mortgages are going to be suffering real financial pain.
The Department for Transport says it's incredibly disappointing that Doncaster Sheffield Airport is to close, putting around 800 jobs at risk. The owners, Peel Group, had been offered public money to keep the site open in 2023, but the firm said the airport's business model was not viable. Leah Herring was due to travel to Benidorm from Doncaster Sheffield next June.
It's the first time any of my kids have been on a plane. It's the first time my family and my mum's have been away abroad together. Normally we stay local in the UK. I don't drive, so for us all to get to, say, Manchester or Leeds, it would cost a lot.
Investigators believe an electric bike caused a fire at a tower block in Bristol. One man's believed to have fallen to his death to escape the flames in the early hours of yesterday. The Crown Prosecution Service says a hearing has been scheduled for Thursday in the case of the US citizen Ansa Koulas, who's accused of causing the death of teenage motorcyclist Harry Dunn by dangerous driving in 2019. The case will be heard at Westminster Magistrates. A planned strike by bus drivers in London next Tuesday has been called off after a new pay offer was tabled. The industrial action was due to involve around 2,000 members of the Unite Union. The drivers will now vote on the new deal. And the American space agency NASA has decided to pull its moon rocket off the launch pad in Florida because of an approaching hurricane. The vehicle will be rolled back into its engineering workshop to protect it.
F1. We had a great race, On every compound we were quickest, and the deck was very good, so we had a really good race car. Basically, we're just controlling the gap at the end. Of course, then the safety car came out. I could quickly, get back into my rhythm and get into second. And it was just, it was really good on the tires. It was really enjoyable to drive today, even though it was quite hot out there. But great day for us.
F1 live race commentary from the Singapore Grand Prix, Sunday afternoon from 1
on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
England 0, Germany 0 at half-time, second half on the way. Now in rugby union today, Worcester Warriors have been suspended from playing and will be put into administration after failing to meet an RFU funding ultimatum. We can hear from Nick Easter, now a defence coach at the club.
It's obviously been a horrific situation the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks, however long it's been going on for. But personally, I know there's a lot of other people in a lot worse situation than I am now. That doesn't make it easier, but it's been a lot of mental torment and torture, and it's probably born out of, yes, look, not the situation that we signed up for and we thought that the club would be in, but rather the fact that the communication and lack of answers and the complete uncertainty, which is probably what concerns you the most. Whereas when you have good communication lines and there's a bit of certainty, whichever way it may be, you can move forward. And I suppose the announcements in the last hour or 2 hours or whatever it might be have provided a bit of that. We've got a call later on tonight, as coaches and management. So I'll find out a little bit more about what's going on.
Minty, because it's been broken deadline after broken deadline. There's been no visibility in person, if I'm to believe everything that I've seen on Twitter with regards to the new owners. You shared your frustration online too. But as from today, and I'm sure you get more clarity when you have your call, what is your stance? What is your position? Currently suspended from the Gallagher Premiership. You're employed to coach players every single day, but there is no competition.
Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned and the club's concerned, Steve Dimes decided on Saturday, told the management before the game, told the players after the game we'd have the week off. He said there's no point coming in because the other thing is the building now isn't insured. So it's been closed as of 4:30 this afternoon. Even the caretaker and his wife have been kicked out, which was their accommodation for however long they've been there. Yeah, I mean, that's how appalling the whole situation is, and the lack of honesty and care that's gone into the situation, to be honest with you. So we can't train there. So yeah, look, if we carried on training, we might have to go, I don't know, to a local school or a club or a field or something. But I just don't think that does anyone any good. So he's given everyone the week off, as far as that's concerned.
I mean, over the last few weeks, Ben, as you've said, it's been really uncertain. Has the rugby been the gel between it all, just keeping people together? I know it doesn't mean much right now, but you had a great result, and sometimes rugby can bring the best out of people in that way. Has it done that in this situation?
Yeah, look, at least it gives you something to focus on, doesn't it, for the time you're training, and obviously the lads playing, and us as coaches, I suppose, and the supporters just get behind the boys, and they've all been fantastic, and it gives you an outlet. It's obviously an incredibly physically demanding game, so your frustrations and anger and what other emotions you're feeling, it gives you an outlet. But it can only go so far, can't it? Really. Yeah. We want to keep everyone on. Coaches and Dimes, who's obviously in charge from rugby side, has said that he wants to keep everyone on, but he won't stand in the way of people that want to leave. And I think a small amount of people have asked whether they can leave. I think it's that their minds aren't made up. I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, I know that everyone is committed to wanting to stay, but obviously it gets to a point, doesn't it, where you can't just carry on being led down the garden path, and something needs to happen. And as I repeat, now with the suspension and now the administration, we'll be a lot closer to finding out what does happen.
It's a must listen every week, is the Rugby Union Weekly. This week more so than ever. Plenty more with Nick Easter, with Hugo and Chris Ashton on the pod, and the full episode will be out later tonight on BBC Sounds. Now, tomorrow night, we've got live commentary of Scotland's Nations League decider against Ukraine in Poland. Alistair Bruce-Ball is there.
Yes, welcome to the beautiful city of Krakow in southern Poland. Pat Nevin and I have flown over today with a fair few blue-shirted, bekilted Scotland fans, if that's a term. I'm not sure it is. They're hoping their team can get at least a point against Ukraine in our commentary game on Tuesday night to win Group B1 of the Nations League. We'll hear from the Scotland boss, Steve Clarke, in a moment, who's been talking ahead of the game. Pat, Scotland obviously off the back of an excellent win against Ukraine last week, but unfortunately Steve Clarke is missing a lot of players, and not just players, key players for this one.
He is. I made a mistake of speaking in 5 Live last week about the fact that we've got lots and lots of fullbacks. I shouldn't have opened my mouth. We've got hardly any left yet, with so many injuries, but really important ones. Obviously we knew Robertson was out beforehand, but it's certainly a big one for Kieran Tierney to be missing, but maybe even more so. And if you look down the line of centre backs that we're missing just now, Grant Hanley and Cooper were out before, but McKenna missing as well. So you're talking about an entire back line almost that's been sort of ripped out of the team.
OK, let's hear from the boss and one of his strikers ahead of the game. So Pat's mentioned it, some of the names missing. Scott McTominay as well, actually suspended, but Scott McKenna's key at the back. Kieran Tierney, one of the latest as well to withdraw from the squad. Shay Adams, now a doubt as well. We're actually going to hear from him straight after we have heard from Steve Clarke.
It's obviously disappointing because you don't want to lose any players from the squad. Kieran and Scott, two good players playing to the best of their ability, but as I always say, injuries are sent to test you. There's now a chance for someone else. 1 or 2 missing from training this morning. We've got some kind of virus in the camp, just sickness. So Lyndon Dykes, Shay Adams didn't train this morning, didn't feel very well, but they'll be on the plane. So we've got that to worry about as well. So we're not short of issues, and we're also not short of determination to go there and finish the job.
No, I feel great. I trained this morning and feeling better, but I think it's just that, it's one of them ones where we have to get through it, and I'm tough, so I can play, I think. I think if it was any worse than that, I think I couldn't, but, I'm fit, I'm ready to go. Yeah, there's been a few injuries, but I think that comes from boys putting their bodies on the line and, wanting to do well for the nation. So I think, it's been tough, but, we've brought some other players in, and I think we've had a good 2 games in this campaign, and I think we just have to end it well now. I think everyone wants to do well and everyone show how good we are as a team. So it's just getting over that final line tomorrow.
So those are the thoughts of the Scotland striker Shay Adams, before him the manager Steve Clarke. Pat, do you think there'll be a temptation, given the players missing and given the fact that a point is enough, to sit back and play for the point?
I think he might be tempted to try and play 3 at the back. Problem is he's not got 3. It's a real quite a bit of a difficulty for him. But he'll really have to think imaginatively. But that's one thing that Steve Clarke's good at. He's had to adapt it in times gone past, and it's kind of worked. So, I'm really intrigued to know what he's going to do, system-wise, personnel-wise, and I could almost not guess just now.
Pat and Ali, and you'll hear more from them from 7 o'clock tomorrow. All the build-up and then the game in full with us. One other football line, not the first time that I've said this on 5 Live Sport. Watford have a new manager. Slaven Bilic has signed an 18-month deal after Rob Edwards was the latest one to be sacked by the club. We will have reaction to tonight's England game on the Football Daily podcast, which you'll be able to download later on via BBC Sounds. And don't forget the Rugby Union Weekly one will be up a little bit later on. We're waiting for the second half to get underway at Wembley. Goalless at half-time. Andros Townsend, what do you want to see more of in the second half?
Definitely more in the final third, more creativity, more linking up. But I think, like Chris said earlier, we've created the chances. We've created 4 or 5 good chances. Just the final ball, we need to be a bit more clinical. When you're playing the low block, you know you're not going to get that many chances. But when you do get in the final third, you need to make it count.
Would you switch the wide men round, Andros, at all, so they're playing on their natural side?
No, I think they're more comfortable. I know nowadays the left footer plays on the right and the right foot plays on the left. So I think they're both comfortable where they are. They're both creating. It's just, I know it's rich. It's very rich coming from me, but it's just the final ball is just that end product which is missing.
So you've heard from Andros. Chris is alongside him. Second half maybe has just got underway. Cool, I don't want to miss a second of this. Sorry, John Murray.
He's very naughty, isn't he, Mark Chapman? Second half begins here at Wembley Stadium on this dry September night. England 0, Germany 0. Germans have made a change. Timo Werner, once of Chelsea, is onto the field now. He's taken the place of Jonas Hoffmann, who was quite quiet, I must say, on the right-hand side. So Werner, who's done well actually since he's gone back to RB Leipzig this season, has already scored 4 goals. Werner is on. We'll just see where he's going to play. If he's going to play through the middle, which I suspect he will, as Germany win a free kick inside their own penalty area. He is, isn't he, Chris Sutton? He's got the number 9 on his back and he's playing through the middle up front, Werner.
Yeah, and Havertz just dropping into that number 10 role for the Germans. Nearly getting onto that ball and Werner backing in, but Maguire winning it. Wouldn't that have been lovely had England scored after 10 seconds and Chapman would have missed it?
Well, they didn't. So England in the red shirts with the blue trim. This is the new kit with the old style collar, the navy blue collar, and Germany in the white shirts, big black stripe down the front of those shirts, black shorts and white socks. And in the second half, England playing from right to left, as they did when they scored the 2 goals here at the Euros in the last 16 and beat Joachim Löw's Germany as they were at the time. Offside flag against
That's
England.
really bad from Luke Shaw, the left wing back. Declan Rice getting a long 40-yard ball from the centre of the pitch to Shaw, who made a run in behind, but is looking across the line, the German back line. That's really poor.
People haven't rushed back to their seats for the start of the second half. Still lots and lots of empty red seats. People still coming in the entrances. And here is Werner for Germany. Square from him. Kimmich is onto this, 30 yards out. Slips the ball through for Musiala. He's got some space right side of the penalty area. He pulls it back to the edge of the box, but he pulls it straight to his young friend Jude Bellingham. And Bellingham for England passes it forward quickly to Sterling. And now Kane, return pass to Sterling. Sterling's got away from Zula, but the Germans are getting back in numbers. Sterling on the left-hand side puts his foot on the ball actually, and now the Germans are all back in position and groans. You can hear it from the England supporters. I will run you through the teams again when we get a chance, but England with it still inside German territory. Little ball forward towards Bellingham, who plays it out to the right-hand side. Reece James is there. Bellingham again with a touch. That's away from Foden though, and I think it will be taken up by Germany deep inside their own half. It is with the left-back round.
I think the frustration there for the England support, and I get that, is Sterling actually turned back when he had the run on Zula, had the opportunity to go for goal, but didn't back himself, turned back, and the chance was gone.
England with Foden. He has been bright in the match, Phil Foden. He's done a lot of good things. Now the ball square across the edge of the box to Sterling. Shoots, but Ter Stegen diving to his left is able to catch it, actually, leaping to his left.
Yeah, and it's a good run from Luke Shaw on the overlap, and Kehrer just backs off because he's thinking about going with Shaw. That allowed Sterling to come inside on his right foot and tried to bend the ball into the far corner, but smart goalkeeping.
Germany it is now coming forward, still 0-0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Ball out to the right-hand side, and Thilo Kehrer of West Ham playing the ball back towards the halfway line. England had to make a change during the first half. Blow from Manchester City. John Stones seeming to have pulled a hamstring, so he was replaced by Kyle Walker. That's the only England change so far. Ball's played over the top for Werner. Werner flicks a foot at it, but lifts it high over, and in any case the offside flag is up against the blonde German number 9. So the England team now, Pope in goal, Walker, Dyer and Maguire are the 3 central defenders. James on the right, Shaw on the left, Bellingham and Rice in the middle, Foden and Sterling either side of Kane. And the German team with Ter Stegen in goal, as England have given it away to Musiala, and Musiala takes on Maguire. Musiala went down in the box. There seemed to be contact, I must say, from my view here, but the referee, Danny Macaulay, waved it away straight away. He was having none of that in terms of it being a penalty.
Well, it's how much contact. I've got to say, my initial feeling was penalty. There was enough contact for Musiala to go down.
Ball's out of play now, so the question is whether they're going to have a look at this on VAR.
They've got to look at this.
Got to.
Musiala stands Maguire up, little step over. I mean, Maguire
like
catches him, has to be a penalty. It's clumsy defending from Maguire, can't get his feet going. Well, that little step over, there is contact.
Here we are. It's Harry Maguire's going to concede a penalty here. He kicked and caught Musiala on the ankle. The ball had gone. The referee's going across to have a look at the screen, but the video assistant referee, Paul van Berkel, has called the referee over, and this is an absolute certainty. He's going to have a look at this, and England are going to concede a penalty. Harry Maguire is going to concede a penalty, and there's the narrative for you right there.
Absolutely. It's unfortunate.
There's the rectangle from the referee. Boos from the crowd, but he points to the penalty spot, and Harry Maguire, in the middle of the England half, just lifts his hand to his face and walks back to his own penalty area. The England players go across. Declan Rice is going to have a word, Harry Kane as well, but it's no good. The decision's been given. Harry Kane just shepherds Rice away, but it's a penalty, and it's İlkay Gündoğan who's got the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and it's Maguire who gives the ball away to Musiala. Dyer plays a little square ball. Maguire tries to find Shaw. Musiala pinches the ball and drives at Maguire. Clumsy challenge. It is a penalty, and it's a poor error from Maguire. What a chance for the Germans to take the lead.
Well, Gündoğan has still got the ball in his hands, and there's still general milling around, but Harry Maguire is going to be the focus, having been involved. England losing possession, Maguire involved in that, then Maguire conceding the penalty. So it's Nick Pope, Newcastle United's Nick Pope, dancing around on his line. İlkay Gündoğan, right-footed, slots it away. Pope went down to his left, but couldn't get there. Very good penalty by the Manchester City midfielder, and England are behind at Wembley in this final match before they head to the World Cup and Qatar. England on this 5-match run without a win are 1-0 down to the Germans here at Wembley.
Yeah, good penalty from Gündoğan. Pope actually stands up. I think he thinks Gündoğan is going down the middle. Gündoğan just slides the ball into Pope's left-hand side. Just looking at this challenge again from Maguire. And you're right, John, that's the narrative. Why does Gareth Southgate persist with Harry Maguire? Doesn't get enough club football. The poor pass from him initially. But he's going to be hung out to dry here, isn't he?
Well, as a football manager, you, in metaphorical terms, you live and die by your decisions. And Harry Maguire, I'm afraid, has conceded that penalty. And Germany lead England by 1-0. So now they have to respond. England, who are searching for a goal. Rice to the left-hand side. Shaw curls it across. Chested down by Bellingham, but it bounces away. Now, there are big appeals for a handball there from the England players. Kane and Bellingham are saying that it struck a German arm. The referee's having nothing to do with that either. He's leaving that to VAR. England come forward again, but concede a free kick. So this is a question of whether Paul van Berkel is going to call the referee to have a look at that. I must say, with the naked eye, it wasn't obvious, but we are now seeing it, Chris, as the ball came into the box.
Oh, it's Bellingham and Raum.
I don't say handball.
Yeah, there's no handball. I think the England forwards clutching there, wanting a decision, which clearly wasn't there. But now England, they've sat in first half, haven't they? Encountered. They've got to take some initiative and take the game to Germany.
They have. Pressure situation in the Nations League. This game that is effectively a dead rubber, really, as the ball's played back to Pope, who clears long towards the halfway line. In the context of the Nations League, there's really very little resting on this match. England are already relegated. Germany can't make the finals, but it's important. It's big for England this now. It's big for England. It's big for Gareth Southgate. After his team selection, Harry Maguire was at fault in the conceding of the opening goal. Here is Bellingham now. Bellingham, players have got to stand up to the moment, stand up to the occasion. Kane and Sterling, they're two of the most experienced men. Now the ball to Shaw on the left-hand side. Shaw in the full-back position, but the Germans quickly back in position. Now Rice receives it on the edge of the box, gives it back to Sterling on the left-hand side. Sterling to Maguire. Maguire looks up, lifts a pass right over to the far side. James takes that down. James now approaching the penalty area on his right foot, plays it to the edge of the box, and Bellingham tried to curl a shot under the crossbar, but lifted it over instead by a yard or two.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The Germans take the lead, and for one of the first times in the game, England then take the initiative. A couple of good passages of players. The ball's fed out to the right-hand side. James feeds a lovely ball back to Bellingham from 18 yards out. Edge of the box should make Ter Stegen work. The ball sails over the bar.
In the other match in this group, Italy now lead 2-0 in Budapest in the Puskás Arena against Hungary. And it looks as though Italy, Roberto Mancini's Italy, who are not going to the World Cup, are going to win this group and head to the finals next year of the Nations League instead. Free kick. Rice is fouled on the left-hand side.
West Ham teammate Kehrer
with a foul, so it's a free kick, set-piece opportunity. Harry Maguire, an obvious target. That would turn the story on its head if he's able to get that big head to the ball and put this into the net. So the free kick to be taken by James from the left-hand side. Right-footed, he plays it in towards Ter Stegen, but he got one of those big orange gloves to it. An uppercut. Got a good distance on that with that punch. Caught that beautifully. Almost punched it to the halfway line. England with Walker, the substitute, the first half substitute. Manchester Derby coming on Sunday. That's one of our commentaries from the Premier League this weekend. England get the ball away down the right-hand side with James. James delays the cross and then manages to win a corner, strikes it straight into the defender, and it's behind England corner.
Oh, he had the opportunity though, Reece James, to whip the ball in first time. It was 2v2. Kane and Sterling inside the box. German defenders running back towards the goal. Got a corner.
Here's the delivery now to the near post. It's a flick, it bounces out. Bellingham on the edge of the box, shoots, but he slipped, I think, as he did so, and hit a bouncing shot well wide of the right post as he looked at it.
He just slips, doesn't he, Bellingham? There are a couple of decent opportunities there. Similar position to the one he ballooned over the bar. It's not a great corner from Foden. The ball off a German defender just ricochets to him from 18 yards, but that left standing foot slips and chance gone.
The score is England 0, Germany 1. And England facing the possibility of heading to the World Cup on a 6-match unbeaten run. That would be the first time that England have gone 6 matches without a win for 29 years. Dyer playing the ball out from the back. Sterling Now Shaw with a flick, but it bounces out of play off the Manchester United man for a throw-in on the halfway line. It was Federico Di Marco who scored the second goal for Italy. Hungary 0, Italy 2. So not that England or Germany are bothered, but that's Netherlands, Croatia. It looks like Italy and either Portugal or Spain will be the 4 teams through to the Nations League finals next year. Rice puts in the challenge, but Werner comes out with the ball. There's a slip in the box by Dyer, and Werner couldn't find the pass across the penalty area. And Sané was all alone almost at the far post, but Werner couldn't find the pass. And that's a let-off for England, and Gareth Southgate could easily have been 2-0.
It was terrible from Timo, wasn't it? I mean, that was impossible to miss that pass. The Germans would have been 2 up. And it was awful the way he just fed the ball. I think it was to Dyer with 2 German attackers free, just to tap the ball in.
Dyer slipped as well at the crucial moment, and he was fortunate. England were fortunate. Germany lead 1-0. Half an hour to play. Half an hour for England to salvage this against Germany. German supporters over there buoyant. They'll be enjoying this. Question is, which of these teams would go to the World Cup off the back of a morale-boosting win? At the moment, it's Hansi Flick's Germany, and here they come again. And there's a low shot from the edge of the box from Zula, the central defender, who did well, exchanged a pass around the edge of the penalty area, and then tried to pass it into the bottom corner, but hit it a couple of feet wide.
Yeah, he's comfortable though, Zula, when he steps in. And it's a little pass in, I think it's to Musiala, who's wonderful weighted cushion pass back to him, allows him to take another touch. He's under pressure, but fires a shot not far away from Nick Pope's right-hand post.
England have lost possession again. They've given it away inside their own half. Gundogan, but then Maguire puts in the challenge, and the ball bounces away to Sterling near the halfway line, who bounces off Kehrer, but Havertz is able to pick it up. And Germany have just got they've got an extra spring at the moment. They've got the goal. They're a goal ahead, and they just have the edge over England.
This is where, yeah, they're going to make some subs, aren't they, England? But this is where England and Gareth Southgate, you feel the team have to be brave and really press the Germans high. If England just sit in and the Germans dominate possession, then you can see it getting ugly in here.
Yeah, you can. Bukayo Saka, I can see, is being prepared to come on. Remember, Jack Grealish is not an option. Jack Grealish, who came on at the Euros here and helped to win the game for England. Grealish suspended for this match after his yellow card in the San Siro the other night. And I think Jordan Henderson is being prepared down there as well. Rice stretches into the challenge. Bellingham stretches into the challenge. Maguire stretches into the challenge, but Musiala gets away and gives it to Werner. And Werner shoots low across the face of goal and beyond the far post. And again, England are fortunate.
Well, they're lucky that chance fell to Timo Werner, because you got the feeling, because it's Timo Werner, that he would miss, but a couple of challenges from England players not good enough. The ball slipped into Werner, who has that pace to get away the England back line, but then from 12 yards at the angle is trying to slide the ball across Pope into the far corner. It slides at a couple of yards wide of Nick Pope's post.
Terrific from Musiala though. I mean, that was wonderful stuff. He could easily have been playing for England tonight against Germany, even though he's born in Germany. He was born in Stuttgart, but moved to this country as a 7-year-old, was at Southampton, was at Chelsea. Actually met Gareth Southgate when he was 13 or 14 years old, when he was a schoolboy, when Gareth Southgate came to his school.
Well, we can't hold that against Gareth.
No, that's one thing we can't. Yeah, but real talent. Said it was a really tough decision, but he came through the groups. Your friend Derek Ray put out a picture this afternoon of Bellingham and Musiala sitting alongside each other in an England dressing room, one of the young teams. But Musiala, he won the penalty tonight, and he very nearly set Werner up for the second goal there. England 0, Germany 1. England needs something, and Gareth Southgate going to make a couple of changes. It's Mason Mount who is coming on with Bukayo Saka. I thought I saw Jordan Henderson standing up, but he's not coming on just yet, if he is going to come on. So two of the players who've been real Gareth Southgate men, haven't they? Saka and Mount of this England team are going to be called on to see if they can help turn things round. Here's Eric Dyer at the back, but Dyer's passed it straight to Kimmich, and Kimmich chips it over the top. Nick Pope's come right to the edge of his box and clears it away. And they left it to one another, Walker and Pope in the end. It didn't cross the line into the box, and Pope cleared it, but at the other end, Foden plays it up, but it bounces off Sterling, and Germany will come again in the centre circle with the goal scorer Gundogan, but he loses out in centre field. His clubmate Foden came back and tackled him. Bellingham now to the right-hand side. I think that German goal, the Gundogan penalty, is actually making it a better game.
It is. That was a nervy moment for Nick Pope. Really indecisive there, expecting the ball to run through to him inside his 18-yard box, and then in the end a hacked clearance away.
Eric Dyer goes for a long diagonal pass down the right-hand side to James, who gets the ball under control immediately near the corner of the penalty area, plays it in square but played it in short. That was read so easily by Gundogan. Now it's headed forward though for Walker for England. Harry Kane turns on the right-hand side, slips the ball down the right-hand side. It's clipped across to the near post but headed behind by Schlotterbeck, who was comfortably in the right area to head it behind, and it's a corner to England from the right. I don't think they'll make the double change yet, but it's a corner.
Yeah, it's really clean play from Harry Kane to slide the ball to Reece James, but his cross blocked. Can England make something?
Harry Maguire's calling for it. Maguire and Kane standing together. Foden with the corner into the near post. It's a flick and it's up and over the near post by Eric Dyer, and it's a goal kick to Germany. England are going to make a double substitution now. Phil Foden. Well, Foden is replaced. Saka and Mount coming on, and Raheem Sterling. So Sterling and Foden are off, and Saka and Mount are on. Well, they sort themselves out. Let's bring in Andros Townsend for a word. We're almost halfway through the second half. Andros.
Yeah, I think the introduction of Timo Werner's completely changed the dynamic of this German front three. We said at half-time how comfortable England were, not really troubled, and then you get someone like Werner with his pace and his willingness to run in behind. You get him stretching defences, and all of a sudden, even though he's not having joy himself, he's stretching the defence and allowing the more technical players in behind him to get on the ball. So yeah, his introduction has really hurt England.
Thank you, Andros. England 0, Germany 1. BBC Radio 5 Live. 25 minutes to go. What do you think, Chris Sutton? Foden and Sterling off?
Yeah, a little bit surprised.
There's Harry Maguire, left side of the penalty area. Maguire still going between two Germans. Still going, but then the challenge comes in on him, and Maguire is dispossessed, trying to rectify matters. Havertz plays it forward to Werner. Werner now, Sané's in the middle. Werner's still in possession, 30 yards out. He's on his right foot, he plays it square to Havertz, just outside the D, a curling left foot shot. It's in, it's beyond the dive of Nick Pope. Havertz scores, and Germany lead here by 2-0. And Gareth Southgate stands on the edge of the coaching area. It's going to be a defeat, it seems, to send England to the World Cup. It's going to be 6 matches without a win, and it's going to be another Nations League defeat. Damaging, very damaging, this terrible Nations League campaign. And Germany now celebrate that goal, that well-taken goal from Kai Havertz. Black, red and yellow flags flying in one corner of a very quiet Wembley Stadium. The rest of it extremely subdued. England 0, Germany 2.
And dare I say it, it was Harry Maguire who gave the ball away, driving forward from England's left-hand side, cutting inside. It's dispossessed, and the Germans break at great pace. And it's Werner with the ball across the box to Kai Havertz, who's still got so much to do, but 20 yards out right-hand side of the box with his left foot, finds the far top corner. It's a brilliant finish. A howitzer from Havertz into the far corner. Pope no chance. No way back for England. Another Maguire mistake. And I sense it's going to get ugly in here.
Midway through the second half here at Wembley Stadium. Gareth Southgate and his England team heading to another Nations League defeat. England 0, Germany 2. And for the remainder, here's Ian Dennis.
Thank you, John. So a double change being made there with Robin Gosens coming on and Serge Gnabry. So Gosens replacing Raum at left back and Gnabry coming on for Sane on the left-hand side for Germany. As England looking for a way back into the game with a final quarter of this match remaining, but trailing 2-0, and a bad night for Harry Maguire. Culpable with both of the goals. He gave away the first and then trying to win it back, conceded the penalty, and then losing the ball in the Germany half, and then within a matter of seconds a fine curling effort as Bellingham shoots from distance but just outside the D, as England all in red play from right to left, right-footed, well positioned, and a comfortable save for Andre ter Stegen.
It's a bit of sod's law for Harry Maguire, isn't it? The Havertz finish was so good. Such a brilliant effort to put the Germans 2-0 ahead. You know, normally from that range, you've got to be perfect, and Havertz was perfect, and it's, you know, he can do no right, can he, Harry Maguire? Everything which he does at this moment in time is under so much scrutiny. He gives the ball away on the edge of the German box, and the Germans end up scoring, blimey.
But England, so far in this second half, they haven't really had a passage of play where they actually look like scoring.
A couple of efforts from Bellingham on the edge of the box. I think immediately after the Germans had scored, took a bit of the initiative. But now this is where you sense that England need to be brave.
Here is Mason Mount picking up a loose ball on the left-hand side and running forward. Goes down the left side of the penalty area. Scoops the ball in towards Harry Kane, 6 yards out, cleared away by Schlotterbeck, the fair-haired central defender for Germany. But it's over 560 minutes now, England without a goal in open play. They really have toiled of late in terms of creating opportunities. They've failed to score in 4 of their last 5. That goal against Germany in that 1-1 draw earlier on in the Nations League campaign was a penalty. As Saka turns on the halfway line on the right, back towards Rice. As Rice runs forward and now towards Maguire, he lays it off first time. And we have under 19 minutes remaining. We're with you through until 10 o'clock tonight on 5 Live Sport. We'll try and bring you as much reaction as we can from down in the tunnel with John, no doubt speaking to Gareth Southgate and a number of the players. As Reece James, forward ball, Saka onto it, right-hand side, back towards James. James with a right-footed cross, comes out towards Shaw, down into the ground, it's crossed the line surely. Goal is given, and England have a goal back, and it is Luke Shaw to reduce the arrears. Hope for England. England 1, Germany 2.
Do you know what? Do you know what it stems from? Jude Bellingham inside his own half, being really brave on the ball. He's under pressure from 3 German attackers, manoeuvres the ball out right, and then the ball is crossed in. England load the box, 4 attackers in there, goes all the way through to Shaw at the far post, who takes a touch off his chest and chokes the ball down, goes through ter Stegen's legs and just over the line. England showing a bit of character, a bit of spirit, back in this 2-1.
Always concerned when the game doesn't immediately restart, but it now does. They must have been having a look at that for VAR for something, but after a delay it is 2-1, and England now as a stoppage in play. And Luke Shaw, one of the players who's been questioned about being in the starting 11. Only 2 Premier League starts for Manchester United, only 3 appearances all season for Erik ten Hag, with his 3rd goal for his country. His first was against Italy in the Euro final. There's a Germany player down. Let's have a word with Andros Townsend, our guest here tonight on 5 Live Sport. Sets us up for an interesting finale now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and England have obviously had to be more adventurous since Germany scored their goal. We've had to come out more, brought on more attacking players, and like Chris said in commentary, Jude Bellingham, a bit of adventure. He drove forward with the ball and he made the opening happen for us to get our first goal. But now it's going to be interesting. We've got 20 odd minutes to really throw some bodies forward and see if we can break this German resolve.
And what about whilst there's still the treatment going on to, I think it's Kimmich who's getting the treatment, and the England players are getting a lot of liquid refreshment and having words with the coaching staff and Gareth Southgate. When you're behind as an England player, we were talking before off air, weren't we, about the level of scrutiny and the pressure that sometimes the players have got to play with. You're 2-0 down, you're in a bad run of form, your character and resilience is tested somewhat, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, but listen, when you go 2 goals down, whether you're an England player or not, it's sort of, what have I got to lose? It's sort of, right, let's have a go. Yes, we've been resolute, we've been defensive, we've played in a low block, we've been disciplined, but now we're 2 goals down, let's go and play. And I think we've seen that, especially after the second goal, maybe not after the first goal, we've seen that attitude change, attacking players have come on, and England have definitely benefited because of it.
That's Andros Townsend. Thank you, Andros. As Kimmich is able to come back onto the field of play with Germany leading by 2-1. Rice wins the ball in the centre circle. Held up a little bit by Gnabry. Couldn't play it forward. Instead goes out towards the right-hand side. Now Saka takes over. Saka charging forward. Oh, what a fine goal by Mason Mount. Hit it first time, and what a fine fight back by England. There was a super goal though by Mason Mount. Saka did exceptionally well, but Mount took it first time and took it so early he gave Ter Stegen no chance, and England from 2-0 down have fought back at 2-2.
Wow, that's magnificent from Mount, it really isn't. Gareth Southgate, his substitutions, gotta say, I thought Sterling was a threat, but that play from Saka, direct, and then the ball slipped into Mount, right-hand side of the box, 18 yards out. He fizzes a right-foot effort into the corner, beats Ter Stegen at his near post. No blame attached to the goalkeeper. Too much pace and precision on the shot. We've got a game on now.
Either side of that injury to Kimmich, England have scored 2 goals in a matter of minutes. 71 and 74, so 2 goals in 3 minutes for England. Luke Shaw and Mason Mount, and that has certainly transformed the mood here at Wembley Stadium. And just talking about the character and the resilience with Andros, and then all of a sudden England with Saka to Mason Mount. But what a fine goal from Mason Mount. The 2 substitutes combining. His last goal, March 2021 against Albania. He's yet to score for Chelsea this season. That will do his confidence the world of good, because it was a super strike. And England now will be thinking that they're going to go on to win it. And we could have a very exciting last quarter of an hour here on BBC Radio 5 Live.
A wonderful finish, wasn't it? First time, didn't think about it, knew what he was or wanted to do. And then to get that precision, that much power, that much bend on the effort, absolutely brilliant. And you felt Gareth Southgate needed that, didn't he?
Well, it will still be, if it was to stay like this, a 6th game without winning, but England are actually thinking they can go on and nick it now as Kane holds on to the ball, passes the ball out towards James on that far side, the right, back to the England captain, tries to play it early, stopped by Gnabry. But England now are very much on the front foot, Chris.
Oh, they are. 2 quick goals. Confidence up, taking the game to Germany. Just got to keep it going now, keep that momentum up.
Rice running forward to Shaw, left corner of the area. Shaw, cross was blocked. Musiala picks it up now midway through his own half. He's overrun that, and Bellingham slides into the challenge. Bellingham was happy with that challenge. Rice caught by his West Ham teammate Kehrer, helped out by Gundogan, sliding across by Mason Mount. There's a bite to England's play. The crowd are responding. Steve Holland also getting to try and whip the players up. It's funny, isn't it, how there's a stoppage in play. Kehrer's gone down. Had England been 2-0 up and squandered a 2-goal lead, there would have been a sense of disappointment, despite the fact that it may still finish 2-2. But the fact that they fought back from 2-0 down will do wonders for the players' confidence.
Yeah, it's massively positive, isn't it? And also I think it's a good message to the England supporters from the players to Gareth Southgate that Raheem Sterling spoke about. You know, we're all with Gareth. They enjoy Gareth as England manager. and going 2-0 down. They could have chucked it, they didn't. You spoke about their resilience, and they're showing what they think of the England manager with this level of intensity. Essentially, going into tonight's game, nothing to play for, relegated from the Nations League. But in fairness to the players, they've stuck at it. Just need Harry Maguire to score the winner now.
Yeah. Thomas Müller has come on. Musiala is the player who has gone off, and here is Müller straight away into the thick of the action. The 33-year-old, there was that period of time when he was out of the German national side after being dropped by Joachim Löw. The referee has played an advantage because Mason Mount was caught off the ball, out towards James, central area 30 yards out, floats it into the air. Here is Bellingham, side onto goal, plays it out towards the left. This is Shaw, left corner of the area, back towards Rice. Forward ball laid off by Mount towards Shaw on the left-hand side. 2-2 on 5 Live, 11 minutes remaining. Shaw coming forward, enters the penalty area towards Bellingham, plays it out towards James, unmarked right-hand side, checks back, crosses the ball with his right foot, stretching to head it away with Sula. The red shirts of England get the ball back. Rice plays it forward, much better from England. Germany now are on the back foot. Rice chips the ball across towards Reece James, right-hand side. Back inside towards Saka, able to turn. The return ball, Bellingham on the stretch. He was caught there. He's writhing in agony, is Jude Bellingham.
I tell you what, that's such a strong challenge. Bellingham inside the box. He gets caught anywhere else on the pitch. That's a free kick. I wonder whether they'll look at this.
Steve Holland is furious. He's just having a word with the fourth official. England are going to put the ball out of play, I think, to allow treatment for Bellingham. No, they're not. James actually continues playing. Bellingham is now back on his feet. Rice spreads play out towards Shaw on the left-hand side. Links up with Harry Kane. Back heels the ball towards Shaw. Drifts into a central area. 2-2 on BBC Radio 5 Live and also BBC Sounds. As Saka on that right touchline, back towards Bellingham. Under 10 minutes remain. Bellingham. Forward ball, Saka able to turn, edge of the area, Saka in towards Harry Kane. Harry Kane with a turn and shot, hits the side netting. England very, very close to going 3-2 up, as now the referee will be having some sort of communication about that challenge a long time ago on Bellingham, as VAR will have a look at it.
Yeah, we're just seeing the Harry Kane effort. Saka again, dangerous off the right-hand side. But here we are. I think that's a penalty. I think Schlotterberg on Bellingham catches Bellingham on his right angle. Bellingham gets the ball first.
All the England players are surrounding the goalkeeper, and the referee for the second time tonight has been instructed by Paul van Berkel, the VAR, to go across to his monitor. And we know how this ends up. This should result in an England penalty, and Harry Kane with an opportunity to give England the chance to come from 2-0 down to maybe go 3-2 up. The potential penalty review. And Josh, you think it's a penalty?
I think he'll give it as it's gone to the monitor. I don't think Jude Bellingham's in full control of the ball, so I personally don't think it's a penalty.
The penalty is awarded, and Nico Schlotterbeck, who conceded a penalty when these two sides met in Munich, has conceded a penalty. And how the fortunes can be transformed on a fluctuating night of emotions for manager Gareth Southgate and his players. It looked like a miserable run was going to continue. A yellow card has been shown there to Kehrer, the West Ham United defender, by the Dutch referee. And Harry Kane, the captain, 15 penalties he's scored in his England career. He did, of course, score from the spot against Germany when it was 1-1 in Munich. Has a chance now to end this barren run for England and to completely turn this game on its head. We have 7 minutes remaining. Harry Kane with the penalty against ter Stegen. 2 or 3 steps back. Harry Kane waits, runs up now and scores! A sweet 16 from the spot for Harry Kane to cap a fine comeback for England, to transform the fortunes for manager Gareth Southgate and the players, and maybe they will set off to the World Cup with a win after all. From 2-0 down, it's England 3, Germany 2, Harry Kane right-footed high into the top left-hand corner.
What a penalty this is. Harry Kane whips the ball into the top corner, goes across Ter Stegen, who has absolutely no chance. 3 goalkeepers wouldn't have saved that. It's a brilliant penalty. And England from behind, from 2 down. What a comeback that is. It was a penalty. I thought Bellingham inside the box got there first with the touch. Schlotterberg. It was a late challenge, wasn't it?
Just a point to the side of the head there, to the temple from Gareth Southgate to the players now. Keep their nerve, their discipline for the next 6 minutes, because 3 goals in the space of 13 minutes have completely transformed this game. And Gareth Southgate's faith in the players vindicated with a scoreline here, 3-2 against Germany, who are looking at back-to-back defeats actually for the first time since October 2018. But what an emphatic penalty that was from Harry Kane. Just what the doctor ordered here for England's final match before Qatar. Mason Mount certainly has made a difference coming off the bench, right-hand side, and getting a throw for England.
How good has Jude Bellingham been in this second half? I really think that he has been the difference for England. His bravery in possession to drive past players, make things happen. Got further forward, England of course going behind, but really pushed the Germans back. Won the penalty. Can England hold on now and see this through?
They received praise the other night from Gareth Southgate, despite losing in Milan. Jude Bellingham, 19 years of age. This is when the starting 11 was named. England 414 caps. When they actually met in June against Germany in Munich, 481 was the most experienced 11 named by Gareth Southgate, as the referee almost gets in the way. But again, Bellingham winning the ball there with a vital intervention in the midfield, and Harry Kane now runs forward, and Zula comes across as Harry Kane goes for goal from a tight angle on the left-hand side of the penalty area. But once again, Bellingham, and the fact that Calvin Phillips is going to really have it struggle to get fit in time for the World Cup. You're looking at England's midfield partnership for Qatar in Rice and Bellingham.
Oh, well, I think 100%. I mean, Bellingham has to be nailed on to start in Qatar. I think he's shown enough.
And not just for Qatar either. Bellingham at 19 years of age, Declan Rice at 23. It'll be a partnership that should serve England well as Gnabry shoots from distance, left by the goalkeeper, he's lost it, and on the follow-up, an error by Nick Pope. Kai Havertz smuggles the ball in from close range, and England may not get the win after all. 3 minutes remain. Pope lost it. Havertz from close range has equalised at 3-3.
Well, you can't believe this, really. I'm a big fan of Nick Pope. Not his kicking, but his actual handling. But this is a howler. The ball does bounce just in front of him, down to his left-hand side. It's a standard catch for a goalkeeper, really. They do hundreds of these every week in training. It's a shot from Gnabry, and he just spills it. And Havertz, alert as ever, prods it in. 3-3.
Here is Shaw to Mount. 3-3 with 2.5 minutes remaining. Bellingham, left-hand side of the penalty area. Bellingham trying to squeeze his way in between 2 Germany players. Havertz can't bring the ball away. The mistakes have proved costly from England tonight.
What a game. And you've got to feel for Gareth Southgate, haven't you? You really have. 2-0 down, get themselves back into a brilliant position, and then a basic error from Nick Pope in the England goal. And it's all gone flat again, hasn't it? Inside the stadium.
Who would have thought it? No salvation after Pope. 3-3. Germany are going to make a change. 78,949 is the attendance inside Wembley here tonight. Here is Havertz to Müller. Been quite quiet since he came on. Thomas Müller. Gosens with the cross, headed away by Harry Maguire. They're going to make a third and final change, and it's going to be the Southampton defender, Bela Kotchap, who's going to come on for his Germany debut. The 21-year-old, whose Southampton side from Bochum for just under £9 million. Already, I notice he's been linked quite heavily with Liverpool, despite only playing 6 appearances for the Saints.
Who did you hear that of?
Sources. Here is Müller, edge of the area. Havertz looking to turn on a hat-trick, cleared away, dug out well by Maguire. Harry Kane with the release, and Saka's away. Germany committed everybody forward. Saka on the counter-attack. Germany's white shirts flooding back. Saka into the penalty area! Right-footed across the face of goal. Chance to win it inside the last 30 seconds. There was a touch there from ter Stegen to spoon the ball behind, and it's gone out for a corner kick.
And it's so good from Harry Kane, it really is. Inside his own half, whips the ball to Saka, who's on his own on the right-hand side. Gundogan, last man on the centre circle, tries to get back, but he can't match Saka's pace, and Saka, right-footed, is creeping in. Ter Stegen, big fingers around the post.
That was a fingertip save. Havertz has come off. Bela Kotchap has come on to replace Kai Havertz, and England...
Bellingham's struggling, isn't he?
6 minutes of stoppage time, which we're now into, and Jordan Henderson is going to come on, and it's Bellingham who is coming off. Jordan Henderson, who's missed the last 3 matches with a hamstring injury for Liverpool, coming on for his 70th cap for Bellingham, who's had a very impressive game in the midfield. Shaw with the corner kick right down the throat of ter Stegen. 3-3, Chris Sutton.
Oh yeah, we just John Murray there, just thinking Harry Maguire, his big head getting on the end of a corner there. 4-3 England, didn't happen, poor corner.
Meanwhile, Gnabry wins a throw for Germany on this near side, the right, and Maguire has now gone down. But they won't be able to make the change because they've had the 3 opportunities to utilise their 5 substitutions. So he's going to have to play on, is Harry Maguire, for the next 5 minutes. Although they've only used 4 substitutions so far, they've been at the 3 different intervals. So Maguire is just going to have to see it through for England in the closing stages of what has been a second half that will have, I'm sure, even excited Mark Chapman.
Wow, I'm not so sure, really. He's got a high bar, hasn't he?
Here is Müller. England 3, Germany 3. However, what doesn't change the facts is that England will still be going to the World Cup on their worst run of results in 29 years. But
come on.
There will be...
Yeah. And I get that, but there has to be positivity in terms of the performance. 2 down, I think I said at the time it could have got really ugly, but England, really good resilience, responded, took the game to Germany, get themselves in front. Look, they've shot themselves in the foot, haven't they? Poor error from Nick Pope, but I think a lot of positives for Gareth Southgate and his team.
Well, Gareth Southgate yesterday was talking about the reaction externally will be result-based, emotion-based, but they eradicate the errors that have led to all 3 Germany goals, and elements of the performance certainly to maybe encourage the England manager, but it will be 6 games without a win for the first time since when Graham Taylor was in charge back in 1993. The sixth match on that sequence of games was actually a defeat to Germany in Michigan, when England were beaten by 2-1. However, with 2 minutes remaining, Nick Pope will be extremely disappointed with his own performance. It was a shot that he spilled from Gnabry, and Kai Havertz the beneficiary to get a late equaliser after England had produced an excellent fight back with 3 goals in 14 minutes, and still fighting for the ball over on that far side. And for Germany, each of their last 3 away matches have ended as a draw. They've never previously drawn 4 on the road in succession, but that's what they're looking at now under Hansi Flick. 3-3 here on 5 Live. Tomorrow night, Ukraine-Scotland from Krakow. Group B1, Scotland have a 2-point advantage, only have to avoid defeats against Ukraine. Saturday, our commentaries from Anfield, Liverpool-Brighton at 3, West Ham-Wolves to follow that at 5:30. And then on Sunday, Premier League 5 Live Sunday, Manchester City-Manchester United, the derby at 2, to be followed by Leeds-Aston Villa at 4:30. And next week, the Champions League resumes comprehensive coverage on 5 Live, as you'd expect, as England forward at 3-3. The flick by Mount reaches Saka. Henderson tries to win the ball on the edge of the area. Ball played away by Kehrer to Müller. Goes to ground. There's a German player down, which means there's going to be a stoppage in play at Zula. 3-3, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, just an opportunity for England there, but the Germans scramble it clear, and Zula back on his feet. I think there's a challenge with Harry Kane coming together. Harry Kane caught him in the ribs. He's back up.
Here is Kehrer, forward ball on the right-hand side. Maguire turns, forward ball from him, headed back by Gundogan. Kimmich. The 5 minutes of added time, the minimum, have now been played, so we enter the last 60 seconds now of stoppage time with the Dutch referee here on 5 Live. We're with you through until 10 o'clock, as much live reaction as we possibly can before 10, and then when Colin Murray takes over, I'm sure if we get any live reaction into Colin's programme, as James, over on that right-hand side, finds Saka. Is the one final time for England. Saka tees up Henderson. Henderson, Mason Mount taken away off his toes inside the area. Back towards Ter Stegen. Ter Stegen clears the ball away. That probably will be it now. The 6 minutes have almost elapsed. Kimmich waits. So what has certainly been an entertaining second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's been blow for blow, hasn't it? England really responding well. There you go, 3-3.
And there is the full-time whistle. So England's run continues without a victory, extended to 6 games, worst run of results in 29 years. However, as the two managers embrace and share a smile, Hansi Flick and Gareth Southgate, there will certainly be elements of that performance to encourage the England manager Gareth Southgate, and certainly one man in particular who gets a pat on the back will be Jude Bellingham as he makes his way out onto the pitch after coming off. And Gareth Southgate, it could have been so much worse when his side were 2-0 down, and it could have been so much better had it not been for an error from Nick Pope when they were then 3-2 up. But as it was, it finished England 3, Germany 3. Mark.